Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen. Welcome to the latest edition of SecondsOut ReFLEXions. We're here every Monday at 4:30 p.m. to talk about the boxing action of the weekend just gone by, or in this case, as it's the 28th of December, the boxing action of the year gone by, and more significantly, the awards, unofficial ReFLEXions awards for the best performers and action of 2020. And we'll start with the British Fighter of the Year, and with honourable mentions going to the likes of Denzel Bentley, Joe Joyce, of course, with that big win over Daniel Dubois, and Craig Richards, and with his upset British title victory over Shakan Pitters just recently. I think we have to look all the way back to February and the performance from Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder in their highly anticipated rematch to find our British Fighter of the Year. It's not original by any means. A lot of people picking Fury, of course, but I think he went into the rematch, which was pretty much a 50-50 fight for most people. That was the consensus, and absolutely dominated, and did so in a fashion that we were unaccustomed to seeing from him. Most people expected him to box as he had in their first fight, punch pick off the back foot. He had to rise from 2 knockdowns, of course, a very heavy one in the last round against Wilder in their first fight. So he had mental and physical barriers to overcome, but linked up with Sugar Hill Stewart, said that he wanted to add more aggression and punch power to his game, and so it proved on the night as he took the centre of the ring from the start, pushed Wilder back behind intelligent footwork and a good jab, and just kept on top of him, pinned him to the ropes and into corners, always made Wilder wary of what was coming back at him, and made the dangerous puncher box on the retreat where he was far less effective. It seemed that Fury had beaten Wilder mentally way before he had physically, and it was no real surprise by the point that Mark Breland, the assistant trainer in Wilder's corner, threw in the towel. A lot of excuses since from Wilder have done very little to tarnish Fury's achievement. They may tarnish Wilder's own reputation quite a bit, but Fury has come out of it smelling of roses, and for many people will be the favourite heading into his hopeful for 2021 undisputed clash with Anthony Joshua, a fight we've wanted to see certainly in Britain for a long time, and will crown the first undisputed heavyweight champion in the 4-belt era. I back Fury in that one. I'm not shy about saying so, and I'm sure a lot of people are. The bookies are certainly making him the favourite early on from what I've seen, and I am fully convinced that he deserves to be the 2020 Fighter of the Year. My international Fighter of the Year is Teofimo Lopez, who shocked most observers with his upset victory over Vasily Lomachenko, multi-belt lightweight champion, 3-weight world champion, hadn't lost since his first pro fight, or second pro fight, sorry, against Orlando Salido. Just looked as close to unbeatable as possible. Some said, lightweight was a bridge too far, but not many people were picking Teofimo Lopez as the man to end his reign. And yet he did so. He took control from the off, similar to Fury in a way, in that he put his authority on the fight from the opening bell, took the centre of the ring, controlled the pace and distance of the contest. And yes, Lomachenko did come back into things after the halfway mark, as Lopez in his first real kind of 12-round test began to tire. So it's no big shock that he started to fade a little bit in the second half of the fight. And Lomachenko had his moments, but I couldn't see any way that he won the fight. I know he said since he feels like he won still. I don't see that at all. I found Lopez a clear winner by the end. I think even being generous to Lomachenko, it was still 7-5 to Lopez, and that's being as generous as possible to the loser in that fight. And Lomachenko can come again, certainly in the lighter weights, but on that form, Lopez looks like he could reign for a long time. And not only that, he's charismatic, he's articulate, he's a great personality, and I think a victory for him, as harsh as it may be on Lomachenko, who's older, for whom English is not his first language, I think it's a good thing for the sport that Lopez came out on top. He's still young, he can go through the weights potentially. There's a lot of big fights out there for him potentially as well. The winner of Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia springs to mind if he stays at lightweight. If he moves up, you've got the Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez winner, or moves up even further, welterweights seething with or teeming with great talent. So lots of options for him. Great personality as a as an attraction and as a draw, he's only going to grow. Now he's got all the belts, or most of the belts. Obviously, Devin Haney's got the WBC. But he stands out for me, even though Canelo had a really good win at the end of the year over Callum Smith. I think Teofimo Lopez wasn't favoured going into the fight, unlike Canelo against Smith. He was very much the underdog, turned the odds on their head, had a great performance, and great upside for him as well. So that's my international fighter of the year. Apologies for the change of scenery. Had to leave the front room as I was getting interrupted by my little boy, bless him. But just to finish this one off, my fight of the year, and this is one that is more unique than the British and International Fighters of the Year, and it's for the second year in a row actually that he's won this award, although he won't be too happy about that considering he drew the first fight and lost this year's one. Alex Dilmagani, the Crayford super featherweight, who lost his European title challenge to Samir Ziani on Channel 5 on the Hennessy Sports Show earlier this year. Once again gave a typically valiant, blood and guts, persistent effort. But just as he had that draw the previous year with Francisco Fonseca, he came up short this time by stoppage or knockout. I think it was in the final round of a 12-rounder against Samir Ziani, who was intelligent, every bit as dogged as Dilmagani. He just had that little bit of extra cunning and guile about him, and was able to outmaneuver Dilmagani at times and force him back ultimately, as in a war of attrition he seemed to ship slightly less punishment and lasted the course a bit better. But if you haven't seen it, I recommend it's probably on Hennessy Sports' social media channels by now. I recommend you watch it because it's an absolute humdinger of a 12-round thriller. What a contest. Just skill, plenty of skill and ability, but just real trades, exchanges, battering each other for the majority of the rounds. Really, really enjoyed watching it. The fact that it was on free-to-air Channel 5 in the UK made it all the better. So yeah, that's my fight of the year. So that rounds up my 3 main awards for the year. I want to hear, obviously, exactly the same thing from you guys in the comment section below. Who are your British fighter, international fighter, and fight of the year, and why? Let me know. I'll be back next week for ReFLEXions on Monday. So I'll be reflecting 4:30 PM. I'll be reflecting on whatever happens between Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia out in Dallas. There'll be no FLEXpectations this Thursday. It's New Year's Eve. I thought I'd give everyone a bit of time off. But I'll be back the following week for FLEXpectations, which will be the 7th of January, I believe. Again, Thursday, 4:30 PM. Really appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you all soon. And have a great new year, whatever you do.